Hey guys, Mike Goldstein here of EasyDatingCoach.com. Today's topic: this one thing may be preventing you from having a happy relationship. Now, if you're tuned in, this is not just for your relationship with your significant other. This could be with your boss, it could be with your mom, your dad, your brother. Any relationship this could be affecting. And this is so important. And it's not just looking at the sexes, it's much bigger and much deeper than that. So, about 30 years ago, John Gray came up with men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And he decided that we're from two different planets, we're speaking two different languages. Well, since then, there's been even more stuff coming out. And I want to give you some advanced communication skills. So not only do men and women sometimes speak differently, but then there is a way that we speak that is not have anything to do with our sex. And 50% of the population sit on one side and 50% sit on the other side-ish. It's not precise. But what that does mean is there's two different major players. And so what I want to do is explain this to you, because if you're dealing with anyone, you need to know which language they're speaking so that you understand them. And this is like the first thing you need to know about any relationship, whether it be your boss, whether it be a colleague, whether it be your significant other. You need to know what language they're speaking, because this is going to save you from fights. This is going to make you understand them better. This is going to bring you closer. It's just vital. So tune in. I'm going to take care of you on this. So there's two major things. Let's talk about it. So we've got folks that are structural and we've got folks that are figurative in their communication style. Structural folks, they use the words precisely. The exact word that they are saying is exactly what they mean, and they put great care in the words that they were using. Does that make sense? So think about like a lawyer. Every word is handcrafted to mean exactly what that word was intended to mean. However, figurative folks are less concerned about the words that they're using and are much more concerned about the emotion that it can convey. So a great example of a figurative speaker would be, for example, Donald Trump. When he's like, let me give you an example, like Sleepy Joe Biden or whatever he calls him. He's not, saying, Joe Biden's sleepy necessarily. He's just saying this is potentially my competitor. I don't like him. Here's something negative about him. And so he's less concerned about the words he's using and more concerned about what emotion is he conveying to rally, more emotion. Does that make sense? Now, everyone sits in this, and since a lot of you have been watching me for years, I'm a figurative speaker. So what that means is I'm a little less concerned about the word and I'm more concerned about what emotion I'm conveying. So this is such a funny example of this. So this couple was dating, and the man was structural and the woman was figurative. They were living together. And the woman said, like, I'm over this. Like, this relationship's, I'm just over this relationship. And they were living together. And so he heard that. He's structural. She's figurative. And so what he did is he literally packed a suitcase and left their house and thought the relationship was over. But his figurative wife or girlfriend, whatever they were, I forget, really just meant, I'm upset right now. I'm frustrated with our relationship. And in this moment, that's how I'm feeling. Now, if he would have known that she was figurative and understood that, he wouldn't have listened precisely to the words, but he would have listened to the emotion behind it and been like, okay, she's upset right now. What's my protocol for handling when she's upset, or how do I, make this better? And if she understood that he was structural, she would have known, I better be a little more careful with my words. So, bottom line is, when you are dating someone that is the opposite, or you're dealing with someone with the opposite, it is vitally important. Here's how you handle it. As you simply say, I heard you say this. Is this what you mean? So you kind of repeat them. Whether you're structural or figurative, you're constantly going to go back to, I heard this. Is this what you meant? And so if you realize you're dating that, wonderful. It's going to slow you down and it's going to bog you down because it's going to be harder to communicate. So if you're single and you're like, who should I date? Maybe you should think about this. Like, am I going to do, if I'm figurative, would I do better? It's a lot easier if you date the same language. So then you don't have to slow down your communication and go, am I hearing you right? Do I understand? You usually can go a bit faster. So if you're willing to go slow and deal with the challenges of this, then date someone who's the opposite of you on this communication spectrum. But if you want someone that you can go a little faster with, date the same. Does that all make sense? And people are dating outside of this communication. People are dealing with people outside of this every day, all the time. So don't feel like you can't do it, but it's easier if you date the same. So I'd be curious. Go in the comments and tell me what you think you are. Are you a figurative or are you structural? And then most importantly, what I'm really curious about is, do you want to date the same? Or do you want to date differently? And some common things that people think about is like, well, a figurative man, well, if he says something, does he really mean it? And like, I don't want someone who goes back on their word. I want a man who, when he says something, the gold is his bond. Figurative folks, that doesn't mean that gold is not their bond. It just means that when they use words, they're more concerned about the emotion than the specific word. Does that make sense? So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Okay. Well, I hope this was helpful, guys. I love all of you, and we will see you next Tuesday for another video. Bye-bye.